Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
I do want to support you with, changing and, just looking after the baby and like soothing them when they're unhappy.
Yeah.
So, how am I gonna like get to the baby safely?
Yeah.
It's not just about me, it's about the baby as well.
well.
So it's not just about being able to grab them, but then potentially risking their safety.
Oh, hey there. I didn't see you there. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since we've like filmed. So hey CFam. It's also been a while since I like made an effort to do something with my face. So yeah, the sit down video with you guys, but first need a cup of chai, need a cup of tea. So let's make some tea and then let's sit down, chat with Winston, chat with you guys, and get this going, CFam. I bought this like tea stand and I just think it's the most adorable thing. It's from Amazon because usually like I had like boxes and boxes of tea, so I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, what a handy way to organize all of our herbal teas. And I also bought a few more bits to kind of just make this area look a bit nicer because we love our tea, so why not make a cute tea station? So anyway, I'm waffling, let's make some chai. Okay, so I'm actually going to make dawa for Winston, which I've already blended up. That's the other thing about dawa, I keep this in the fridge just because it stays better, the little concoction, but it does make it a bit like pasty. So you may want to, if you know you're going to have some that day, I would leave it in the fridge so that it stays, but I would probably leave it out a couple of hours before you know you want to have a cup or something. So we're going to put a couple of those. This is great for the winter months, by the way. We literally just have this in the fridge in stock.
For people watching for the first time, what is this yellow mix?
Right, so this is a mix of ginger, lemon and garlic, so obviously great for the winter months. And then we just mix it with honey and add water, as you see that I'm doing here, and then I'll put a slice of fresh lemon. My husband Winston behind the screen loves honey, so I usually give like a generous amount of honey, and then I'm actually gonna have some masala tea, which was kindly Sharon, our friend from Tanzania, got this for us. Sugar, a little bit of oat milk.
Chocolate milk. So this is the behind the scenes look. Setting up, ready to do our chat.
We need to actually, I was gonna like show you guys how I guess, I didn't know this is what the official term was, but I guess it's called like a bedside nursery, where you have the nursery and the main bedroom all in one. But we'll do like a proper tour, I'm like, when everything's done, but we're so close to finishing, so let us know if you guys want a little tour of what our bedroom / nursery area is looking like. Obviously it's our first child, so we may need to change things as we go to make it more practical, but I'm really happy with how it's feeling. I think we're blessed with a pretty big room, so it doesn't feel super crowded despite having everything here. But let's do this.
Let's do it. So let us know if you want to see that tour, that video. We'll make it happen.
Okay, we have our tea. We're ready to film. I don't know if it's like, but I've been told that even in like Africa, which I think it is true because when I goes in, they love tea. But in England, you grow up knowing that a cup of tea just makes everything.
Solves all problems.
Solves all problems. Doesn't matter what's going on, a cup of tea makes everything better. But anyway, it's really good to be with you guys. It feels like it's been ages since we've like sat down with the CFAM and vlogged. Although it's only been, I think, maybe like a week and a half that we took.
I think we missed a couple of videos, but it always feels much longer.
It always feels like ages because we just love like interacting with you guys, especially on the premiere. But we had some tech issues. Our video editor, his laptop had to get sent away for some repairs, which was fine because I think it gave us a chance to just, sorry, pregnancy. It just gave us a chance to rest a bit because, y'all, we're in the 3rd trimester.
Yeah, what week is this? 30. Week 30.
I'll be, 30, nearly 31 weeks, which is just nuts to me. Like, I literally remember being like 11 weeks pregnant and being, babe, can you see my bum? Can you see the bum?
Yeah.
So.
Baby was that big, now they're.
Yeah, so it's great that we're here. But yeah, took a little break, but we're here now. Yeah, should we kick into the video? Subscriber of the week?
Oh yes, we haven't done subscriber of the week
in a while.
Okay, let's do that. Subscriber of the week.
Ooh.
I can read this one out. So Kanisha says, it's so incredible to see you both hitting this milestone and touching so many lives. The energy was electric in the room and I'm happy to have been there to support. The road to 500k has started. The CFAM is global. Thank you, Kanisha.
Yes.
Who was also there with us at the meet and greet.
And she also happens to be one of my best friends, so a little bit biased. Yes. Beautiful comment, and it was so good to have her there. So, yeah.
You a real one.
A real one. Okay, cool. So, today's video, I guess, like we said, we're in the 3rd trimester now. So, it's so weird though. Like, I think pregnancy, it's such a journey. Like, I genuinely feel like we're different people from the first time I came in. Like, like, it's positive to now. And
even my beard has grown.
Beard has grown. Like, everything's changed.
Let me know if I should keep this, people. I've kind of.
I like it. I think
I'm experimenting here.
But yeah,
I like it makes me look more like a dad.
Yeah, it's giving dad vibes. But yeah, now that we're kind of coming to close to the end of the pregnancy journey, we were just kind of reflecting on like what would we tell another couple who were kind of about to start this pregnancy journey. Yeah. And especially another couple who may be in a similar position to what we are because they're an interabled couple. And yeah, so we're just going to talk about the things that we've learned or things that no one told us about being pregnant, especially as an interabled couple. I think a lot of these things will be applicable to you whether you are in an interabled relationship or not, but we hope some of them will also kind of shed light on our unique experience as well. So let's kick into it. Do you want to go with the first one? Should I?
Depends what it is. Yeah, I think this is you.
Okay, cool. So the first thing that I really didn't feel like I was clued on about when I became pregnant was be prepared to advocate for yourself. I can't stress how important this is, especially if you don't have much experience like with medics. I personally don't, because I haven't really been in, I've never like stayed overnight at hospital, I've never been in hospital for long lengths of time, so I never really understood, especially in the UK, what it was like to deal with medics. And of course, like, you know, your care providers are there for you and they should have your best interest at heart, but at the same time, I think I've learned during this journey that you know your body, you know your relationship, and you know what you need. So just because a doctor says, hey, like, we think this, don't be afraid to go back and ask, hey, what are the benefits of this? What are the risks of this? What are the alternatives behind this? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Just because your doctor or your midwife says something doesn't mean you can't go away and actually be like, hey, actually, this would work better for us, or actually, having done some research, this works better for us. And I just found that to be really important. I think especially, you know, in an interabled relationship, we're the only ones that really understand our dynamic, right? Yeah. So it's important that we can kind of put forward things that are important to us, like how active Winston wants to be during labour, like all of those different things. So that's one thing I would just say, is be prepared to advocate for yourself. And one thing that will really help with that is do your research. I think I got really overwhelmed in the beginning with there's that stage where you find out you're pregnant and you want to know everything.
Yeah.
One thing that helped me is just trying to know a little bit ahead of the stage that I was at. I think it's especially important, like in the UK, you'll get offered different scans and different like injections, things like that at different points. So if you can kind of like read up on what's to come, then you're in a position where the doctor says, hey, like, do you want to take this scan or this test? You can say yes or no, because you have that information. And it's also okay to say, hey, I haven't had a chance to research this yet, can I go back, and then get back to you.
Yeah, and I think it's quite easy to get overwhelmed by it all, because like you say, pregnancy it's a long-term project.
It is.
It's 9-10 months of your life. And so if you try to eat the whole elephant in one go, it can feel quite scary. And then there's also the other side to it, which is when you go into those meetings with your nurse, your doctor, your consultant, whoever's looking after you, because you know them to be the expert, you can easily fall into the trap of, or into the mindset of just going along,
nodding your head
with anything that's suggested. So I think another thing that I would say has helped us is preparing for those meetings.
Yes, definitely.
So just at least having a general sense of what you want or what questions you want to ask. Should option A or option B be presented?
Yeah,
I think that really, really helps. Otherwise, you're just more inclined to say, okay, that makes sense, which it will.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Definitely. And I think another thing that I learned as well is, like, within, I guess it depends on your pregnancy journey, but there are a number of people who are experts on different things when it comes to pregnancy. So you have people who are experts in, like, analysing scans, you have people who are experts in terms of delivering a baby, you have people who are experts in terms of how to look after a baby afterwards, people who are experts in terms of breastfeeding. So don't just assume that just because you're speaking to someone who's like a medic or a midwife, they know everything about the whole story of pregnancy. So you can always ask, hey, is there anyone else that I can speak to about breastfeeding, because that might be something that you're really worried about, or is there anyone else that I can speak to about how to care for my baby once they're born? And there is someone available like that you can be referred to. So don't just assume that the person that you're speaking to knows everything about every aspect of your pregnancy and pregnancy in general. Like, ask to see if there's someone else you can speak to.
Yeah, because I'd say the team that's looking after us it's a multidisciplinary team.
Yeah.
There are people who cover, for example, your midwife, who comes and checks in on us every few weeks. And then you've got like the fetal experts who do the ultrasounds. You've got the birth choices people who are helping us come to that decision as well, with how we should plan that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's knowing who to go to for a particular piece of advice, because to be honest, being experts, they probably have a general knowledge of a lot of things. So you might end up asking the wrong person and getting some advice which is okay, without actually going to the person who would give you all the specific advice for your situation.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a really important one. Be prepared to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. So number 2 on our list is, one thing that we've noticed is that there is a difficulty in finding accessible baby gear, just baby accessories, because like we said, we're setting up our, I guess you could call it like a bit of a hybrid situation we've got here.
Yeah.
Because this is our sleeping area, and then you've also got the nursery built into that as well. But, you know, as you know, with the baby, you need different types of equipment, whether it's a cot or a place to change the baby. And a lot of this equipment is designed for one type of person.
Yeah.
Someone who is able-bodied, or
height,
like the same height, or, you know, able to reach down or reach up, or, you know, use their body in a very specific way. So I think what I found a bit challenging was, well, how's that going to work for me? Because I'm in, you know, my body is different. I'm in a sitting position. So even thinking about the example of, I don't know, what's a good example? Like a cot.
Yeah.
Thinking about how am I gonna, because I do want to be hands-on. I do want to support you with, you know, changing and, you know, just looking after the baby and like soothing them when they're unhappy.
Yeah.
So, you know, how am I gonna like get to the baby safely?
Yeah.
It's not just about me, it's about the baby as well.
As well.
So it's not just about being able to grab them, but then potentially risking their safety. That wouldn't make sense either. So that's something that we've been thinking about and looking at how we can either take something
Yeah.
and adapt it to our needs or look for a specific solution.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think personally, like, it inspired me to, like, this is our first pregnancy, so we're kind of learning on the go. But definitely after this pregnancy, like, I think there should really be like a one-stop place that parents who are differently abled can kind of like shop and find specific things that they need. Because even with some of the bigger, huge brands, there's just not that, you know, adaptation, and it's actually can be quite hard to find information about how you can adapt certain things. So
Yeah.
I think to a certain degree it's been like being creative about the things that and the equipment that we've been finding, and seeing how we can use those. So for example, we were gifted a cot by our friend Mercy. Yeah, we'll show you that, and it adjusts in the fact that, like, you can put it into higher or lower, so that's really good. If you are, you know, a wheelchair user and you need it to be a different length, and then it also has like a bit that drops down, which is really good for if you're recovering from a C-section, but also if you are like in a wheelchair in a sitting position for most of the time. That's really good because you can get to the baby without having to reach over. And you can lower it and higher it, things like that. Also just, you know, making sure like that your changing station is a good level for Winston. So we're really learning on the go, which is the beauty about being in this together. We're going to learn some stuff as we go,
And I think it's going to require maybe a bit more creativity than perhaps normal. And I think my sister gave us a good idea the other week about having like a sliding sheet on the cot, so that if I am reaching for the baby, I can kind of slide them across
as close as
and
possible
over to me, so that I can pick them up safely without having to reach over too far. So things like that, something simple, and thinking about how can I use that to improvise and make this piece of kit even better for me.
Definitely. Or even having like babies' clothes that they use all the time at a higher shelf, so that, you know, Winston can reach it, things like that. But ultimately we learn as we go along, people. But that's just something to bear in mind if you are differently abled, and you're pregnant, or you're planning to get pregnant. It may be something that you may want to think about earlier, because if you're ordering different equipment, it can take longer, and you don't want to be in a position where you're stressed about that towards the end of the journey. So we're really grateful that we were able to get a lot of the stuff that we need, the big stuff that we needed beforehand. But also don't stress, because you learn the baby as you go along. Like, I feel like there's this mad rush to get everything there before baby comes, but they're a baby, like, you still will be able to like go to the shops as long as they have like a basic place to sleep and things like that. So don't stress too much.
And definitely open to tips. So if anyone is watching who is differently abled and a parent, and you know, you've got a hot idea that you think would work great for us,
let us know.
Happy to hear those.
Yes, definitely. So the third thing that we've kind of learned, and the thing that no one told us, was how much love and positive feedback you would receive. Like, how much, let me speak for ourselves, we've received a lot of just love and support throughout this journey, which again, I would hope it's the same for everyone, but I think having this platform on YouTube, it kind of magnifies that. Like, we are still getting stuff from our registry. In another video, I'll show you the stuff that we didn't get to include in our first unboxing. But every day, we're literally, like, our doorbell's ringing with something being received from our registry. It's just overwhelming, the amount of love that we've received. And also just, I think for me, what's really exciting is being able to be a representation of what's possible and what we hope will just be the norm in our children's generation and our children's generation, which is that regardless of, you know, your physical form, like, you should be able to start a family like anyone else, however or whatever way that looks like. So I think those are the messages that have touched us the most, like where you have a mother who's got like a small child and they have that example to see, like, oh wow, like this isn't represented in the media, but you know, we have an example of, you know, Winston in Mayfair, like showing what might be possible for my child, which is beyond what society tells you is possible. So that's been amazing as well.
Yeah, definitely. And again, just to echo that, a big thank you to the CFAM for their support. I think the support, we've been blessed because it feels like we've been supported in so many different ways.
Yes.
So whether through prayers, whether through messages of encouragement, even people sharing their own stories, or through supporting the registry as well. Like, yeah, I think it just blows us away. I think our neighbors must think,
what's going on
in that house? They're always getting deliveries. Did they win the lottery?
Literally.
Yeah.
It's literally, even when our cleaner was here the other day, she's like, oh my gosh, you must have like lots of friends because we've got so much stuff already. And it's because we're just supported by so many of you guys and so many of our friends and family just blessing us and making this journey a little bit easier. So we really, really appreciate you guys.
Definitely. So next one is, people ask intrusive questions or make assumptions about how you conceived. So yeah, I feel like this is something we've talked about a few times. Definitely check out the Q&A video that we did.
Yes, I think it's either in part 1 or part 2.
We'll link it in somewhere here. But yeah, definitely, I think, and this is maybe a general thing with being in an interabled relationship. I think where disability is involved in any way, it almost gives people a permission slip to ask the question that they would never ask anybody else. And so I think that's something that we've had to, deal with, get used to, and manage. And, it can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the point that I try and get across is because I have literally, like, we've created posts about this, things like that, and there's people who've argued like, oh no, like, it's not people being ableist, it's just genuine curiosity about how you conceived and like the mechanics of all of it. And what I have always said is, like, I would encourage you to step back and think about, would you be asking this question to any other, to any other couple? Because again, the reality is infertility does not have a box, it does not have a picture, it's not synonymous with disability. Sometimes it is, and but not all the time it is. So it's actually really unhelpful when we perpetuate these notions that it is, because it can stop people from getting the support who actually do need help to conceive in that way. So yeah, it's been a learning curve. Like, I think when you announce happy news, like, hey, we're pregnant, regardless of how it happened, you just hope that people will say, oh my gosh, congratulations, we're so happy for you, and leave it at that. So I think it can be, in the beginning it was like, oh, really? Like, when people are asking all of these intrusive questions or making these assumptions. I know it comes with the territory, we have a platform, but I guess my hope is that by kind of watching our content, people would be able to take a step back and realize how it might make someone else feel when you've just shared this happy news. Because, there are plenty of people who talk about IVF and that is their story if you want the information. So yeah, not gonna like rant too much about that, but it's something to be prepared about if you are in an interabled relationship, that you may get those assumptions, and then make the decision that you want to accordingly, like whether it's that you want to announce your pregnancy later so you can have that space where you don't have to deal with those assumptions from essentially strangers, or whether you're like, do you know what, this is happy news, I want to share it as soon as I can. Also, that's your choice as well to do that, and support you in that, but it may be just about creating like another layer for your own peace of mind and for your own peace, so you're prepared for that, or whether it's not going too crazy at looking at comments, things like that.
And we have to create boundaries for ourselves as well, right? So with the public platform, we also know when to take a break from it, when to not spend too much time on the comments or analyzing every single message that comes in, because that can also create a bit of anxiety as well and a bit of stress. During a journey or a time that's already a bit more maybe high pressured than usual. Definitely. But I think what we hope is that, because people say, you got a public platform, you should expect that, but I think what is happening here also mirrors what's happening in the real world. What's happening to that kid in the classroom who's differently abled, or that interabled couple that just got together and are now facing all of these questions. So we can handle it to an extent, and we have ways of coping, but this is not just exclusive to us. This also percolates out into the wider world.
100%. And I think that's what the point is. Like, it really does frustrate me when I kind of hear that comment, even directed to other people with platforms. Oh, well, you have a platform, you should expect this. The attitudes that people perpetuate to people who do have a platform or are in the public eye, that's one thing, but it's also like, it's reminiscent of like the attitudes of other people and the experiences of other people. So no, it's not just, oh, you have a platform, you have to expect it. This is what other people are dealing with every day. So it is important that it is tackled. So yeah, that's one thing to be aware of, but continue to do our part to kind of raise awareness on it. So the final thing is antenatal classes. So everyone talks about antenatal classes. Are probably the typical thing that you see like in movies, like the birthing classes that you go to kind of prepare you for labour and for the baby being born afterwards. And we actually have one coming up next week, so we're hoping to document as much of that process as possible. But it was hard, if not impossible, because we weren't able to find a birthing class that's specific to people with disabilities or interabled couples. So we're just going to a birthing class that's just, for any other couple, which I'm sure it'll be really, really useful because a lot of the stuff is general.
Yes, general.
But there are other things that I think it would have been nice to kind of have that experience where it's tailored towards, an interabled situation. Yeah. So for example, information about where you can get certain equipment, or information about how, Winston, as my birthing partner, which he will be, can support me even in his wheelchair. So yeah, I guess it's something again that we hope we can change in the future. I mean, I would love to launch our own antenatal classes like in the future and have like a midwife that can support us.
I was gonna say, does that actually exist? Or
that's the thing, like it was really hard.
We couldn't find anything here in the UK.
Yeah.
Let us know if you've come across it where you live, but
yeah,
I think that's something that would be a great representation to add in this space.
The future. Yeah. Definitely, because as a parent, I think these classes are useful because you just want to feel as prepared as possible, and we're really grateful that we did find a class. But again, there are going to be certain questions that won't be answered, and we may have to do our own research, which is fine. But I think it's just something to be aware of. Or if you are, pregnant and you have a disability, or you're in an interabled relationship, maybe it's something you could start looking into early, so you have better chances of finding one in your area. Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, the one that we booked, the lady was really nice. So I don't think she's ever had an interabled couple before, but she sent us an email, said she was going to do everything that she could to accommodate us and to make sure that we can take part in everything that everyone else is taking part in. So I think that, again, a bit of an adjustment, but it's going to be a good alternative to something that doesn't yet exist.
Yeah, and also I think that's a good tip as well. Like if you can't find one, is just letting the person who is leading the birthing class know beforehand, so they can also think about, research that they can do or bits of experience that they can bring in to make it useful specifically, for you, which kind of goes back to that advocating for yourself thing. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. So hopefully you guys found that useful or insightful, and again, like if you have any tips or things that you learned during your pregnancy journey, definitely drop them down in the comments. We would love to read them.
And another big shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Yes.
If you haven't come across them, somehow Squarespace are a platform that allows people to create beautiful websites online. Yes. And we've been a fan of Squarespace for a while. And I think you've created your own personal website.
Yes.
And we also use them to create our combined website recently.
Yeah.
And what are some of the features that we love with Squarespace?
Well, I mean, if you go on our website, which definitely check it out, we have the whole section on our story with Squarespace, but it's super easy to customize, even if you don't have any kind of tech or coding experience, because they have stunning platforms that you can basically just pick up and easily customize using their website builder. If you want to create your own mailing list, you can also do that on Squarespace. If you want to use your website as a means of generating, money, whether that's by selling products or whether that's by using their membership site builder, you can also do that. It's literally an all-in-one platform for everything that you need to create a successful website that showcases what you do and also generate revenue from that. So highly recommend it. We don't use anything else, so if we're recommending it, that means you guys can definitely trust it. So if you want to have a go at making your own website using Squarespace, you can try that using their free trial, and then when you're ready to actually get going, you can use our code, which is going to be on the screen here, to claim 10% off of your domain or a website.
Yep, first domain or website, 10% off. Use our code.
Yes.
Check it out. If you do build something, send us a screenshot.
Yes.
Tag us. Send us the link. We'd love to see what you came up with. Because this is, honestly, if you think websites, think Squarespace.
Yes, super easy to build on that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in another video. Bye, CFAM.